Smile and wave, and there we are, and we're going to start the music.
So you wanna be
So you want to be
a cool
cool
kid,
kid,
hanging with the
hanging
insects,
with the insect,
looking real
looking real,
cool
cool and
and fine,
fine,
casting your
casting your net.
So you
Want
wanna
to be.
be,
Oh, wait for the drums. Pop, 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 pop. There we
Bonnie
go.
girl.
Thank you very much. I'm Bonnie D here, back. It's been a while back with We Dish TOO and Cap Saucy Dame and Cool Dude. And my cool dude today is Joseph C. Carrabis, Carrabis. Welcome. How are you, Joseph? Shall I call you Joseph or you want to be Joe? I think you want to be Joseph, yes?
I prefer Joseph, and thank you. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. I have a special gift for you to open the show. I'd like to read it to you if you're ready. You okay? You might
Go for it.
recognize the person I'm going, and I'm going to have you boost your volume just a tiny bit if you can. Okay, so here we go. We Dish, Two Saucy Dame and Cool Dude Flair. We're Bonnie D and Joseph C live streaming. Yes, on the air. And we have somebody watching. Hello, whoever you are. We have somebody on Facebook saying hello. You may know us well, one or both of we two. Seasoned in life. That's a polite way of saying we've been around and we love what we do. From social channels, virtual embrace, we're sharing our insights on everything in this very special space. Today on We Dish, we're here to play, lightening up life in our uniquely fresh way. Are you feeling uniquely fresh today, Joseph? Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad. Now I'll share the life of this very cool dude. When I'm done rhyming, he'll add more with attitude. Here we go. Born blind in Melrose, Massachusetts, early years took flight. Then Manchester, New Hampshire shaped his path with might. From beginnings demanding courage far beyond his age, Joseph learned endurance would become his greatest gauge. Life tested him early, yet never dimmed his spark. He learned to navigate by listening in the dark. Born without sight, he sharpened every other sense, translating the world from sight to sound and touch intense. One teacher saw the brilliance that others failed to see. Miss Graff named possibilities and set Joseph's mind free. With patience, with belief, she shifted his trajectory, proving one true guide can change a life's geometry. Books became Joseph's sanctuary. Questions fueled his days. Myth, math, and music competed for his gaze. From astronomy to logic, folklore, science too, if knowledge called his name, Joseph, Joseph, he followed through. Schoolrooms struggled, holding such a restless mind. Genius bloomed where passion led, not where rules confined. Though misunderstood by systems slow to see, Joseph's intellect kept proving what learning could be. Stars revealed themselves when telescopes fell short. Joseph named the heavens clearly, memory his fort. Teachers watched in wonder as he pointed out the sky, seeing worlds visible, invisible to their ordinary eyes. A question in a classroom changed his course one day. Spotting flawed logic, he simply spoke his say. That moment opened doors few teenagers ever see. From Northeastern to MIT, possibility was set free. He studied psycholinguistics, neuroscience by design, anthropology, linguistics, math threaded every line. Then he stepped back to see learning through a wider bliss, performing what we now call a bold meta analysis. Joseph worked with hands and heart in mills and farms alike, finding joy for honesty and true effort strike. Harpsichords and pipe organs, craftsmanship and care, where dignity was simple and respect was fair. Writing unlocked a voice education never taught, explaining how to think for himself, not just what others thought. Joseph's books traveled worldwide, praised for clarity and grace, helping other minds solve problems in the real world space. From programming to I'm not even done yet, kid. From programming to patents, his ideas took wing, building companies, technologies, replacing, reshaping everything. Basements grew to offices in countries totaling four. as innovation opened Joseph's opportunity door. Through healing, study, neuroscience, and the arts, Joseph learned how minds awaken where true learning starts. Now a scientist, an author, teacher, inventor, and guide, he stands as proof that courageous minds can far stride. Voted most likely to stack cans at the North County IGA, his path instead took scenic routes, slightly astray, he might say. From trucker, butcher, researcher to physicist in demand, author, and acclaimed from scratch pizza maker, life had other plans. We're here on Dish, chatting on life's score, culture, music, food, and oh so much more. Join us here live or on demand, day or night. We won't be here tonight. That's why they invented on demand. And enjoy our dishing with shared delight. I'm thrilled to introduce to you for real in my live streaming glow. Comments are welcome. Just play nice, you know. We're here on two Saucy Dame and Cool Dude 2, Bonnie D, and my special guest, Joseph C., dishing on life's fun pourvu. Joseph, I hope you enjoyed that.
That was wonderful. You must have spent uh, days. How long did it take you to come up with that?
I have a partner, a collaborator who created that, the draft of that in about 3 minutes.
You're kidding.
I'm not. And then I edited it. So we spent a while on it, but not days. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was wonderful. I want a copy.
Well, I'll send you a clip. It has to be done in the audio is the interpretation. I'll
Yeah,
send you.
I gotta
I'll
make an
send.
audio profile for myself. That's
Did
good. That was
did
great.
did we hit all the high spots of it was
Yeah,
a lot.
I was impressed. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I did that. Oh, cool. Wow.
You sent it to me, my dear. You sent it to me. So let me ask you, what did I miss? What wasn't there that you would like people to know about? Let's what I'd like to do is have you talk about you say, and you told me that you were you were blind. You were diagnosed as blind, legally blind in childhood and for many, many years. So
Yeah.
I think everybody would like to know you're looking, you're on the screen, you're looking, you're reading, I see you. You see me. That's the important point.
Yes.
Can we ask, was it a medical miracle? Was it a revelation? Was it a
Uh,
what
it
how did it
wasn't.
happen?
It wasn't a medical miracle. I was totally blind until I was 5. At which point, Miss Graff, wonderful teacher, she said that she saw me in kindergarten. Something's wrong with this kid, and she alerted my parents, and that's when I started getting corrective lenses. But my eyesight was so bad, and I was growing that I was literally getting new glasses every month. And my glasses, up until, as a matter of fact, I made it a point to keep. I don't know if you can see that. That's one of the lenses. Um, for before I had the surgeries, repeated surgeries. Um, and it was when I was 65 years old, technology finally caught up to be able to basically restructure my eyes through laser stuff. Uh, it's not something I would recommend. It was phenomenally painful.
Hmm.
However, I had said through most of my adult life with my wife that I always wanted to be able to wake up in the morning and look and see her, and that to me was a real goal. And when I was able to do that, the pain was nothing. It was worth it because I could just look over and there she was, my beautiful bride of 47 years. So
I'm gonna cry. That's beautiful.
thank you.
Joseph, no, thank you for sharing that. I mentioned that you're an author. Why don't you tell us a little bit about before we get into our regular agenda here on We Dish, tell us a little bit about what you write and how you started writing and what is it that you do?
Well, yes, I am an author. That means I off a lot. Uh, I got started. Uh, I sold my first story in 1978. Everybody in the audience notices gray in the beard. Um, but the true story of how I got started, my sister Sandra, she's 7 years older than I. We were in the kitchen doing the dishes after dinner, and she was doing a book report for high school English class, and I do not know what caused her to start telling me about this. She was reading a book, James Blish's Mission to the Heart Stars, a science fiction, golden age science fiction book. Don't know what prompted her to tell me about it, but she was so captivated by this book. I mean, literally, she glowed. I'm not kidding. With hands in the soapy dishwater, she glowed telling me about this book. And here I am, 7 years old. I'm looking at my sister, and I swear to God, I remember saying in my head, I want to give that to people. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know the word for what she was experiencing. But that sensation, that total engagement, that joy of, wow, this book owns me. I wanted to give that to people. And I started just reading stuff I'd never read before. When I was in seventh grade, somebody tested me, and I had a master's level reading capability.
In seventh
My
grade.
language, you know, now my language is pretty foul, but that's how.
Where'd you get your sense of humor? So you've written, published a couple of books. What are some
Oh,
titles?
yeah. I've currently I have 10 books available.
Only
Feel
10.
free to go buy them on Amazon.
Do you write every day? Do you write for
Yes.
hours every day? How many hours a day? Or is it not that like that?
Uh, well, I'm working on writing. I'm thinking about what's supposed to be going on in the stories pretty much continually. Susan will tell you I wake up in the middle of the night. I get my little recorder out and make notes, or I'll get up and type it in.
Ah, okay.
But I do write every day. Um, and the actual at the keyboard writing, that can vary from anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to 10, 12.
Wow, I'm impressed. I've been working on my first novella. I've written a lot of other things, but novella for about 3 years now. And I'm in the final editing stage, and I'm going back and finding I want to change that verb, and that sentence should be inverted. And I said they didn't have money for fancy coffee. I've got to say it was Cape Cup pods now. I can't say it was a carafe of something high end because they didn't have the money for that. It's a sarcastic, sassy, I'll tell you later more about it, but I'm looking forward to self-publishing it, and I don't need to sell it. I'd love to give it away. I just want it out there. That's all. But I understand. And Joseph, what I want to say was I spent a couple of hours on Sunday doing my editing, and it was spacey. It was me in this abyss, reading sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, saying, why did I write that? And is that what I really want to say? And will that capture the audience's attention? And is that really funny and sarcastic like I intended it to be? And the world disappeared while I was. Do you have
Yes.
that? Is that am I supposed to have that kind of an experience?
Uh, well, I think you are, and not everyone does. And I feel
Okay,
bad for those who don't have that experience.
thank you.
Yeah, when I'm when I'm actually producing, crafting a story, everything else is gone, and you may want to bleep this out of the interview, but
No, we're
long
live.
ago.
There's no editing, honey. This is not
Okay.
scrubbed.
Well, in
Be
that
careful.
case, send the kids out of the room.
Okay,
When
kids,
Susan and
goodbye.
I were first married, we'd only been married for about 2 or 3 months. My beautiful, beautiful wife wanted my attention, but I was writing.
Ah,
So she came into the room as born,
okay.
and she's talking to me, and I'm locked on the keyboard at the screen,
Oh,
typing away. And she literally got behind the monitor, because back then we had monitors which weighed 50, 60 pounds.
yes.
And she's like, notice anything? And I went, just a minute, just a minute. Oh, hi. Huh?
That was beautifully done.
It
Joseph,
was.
very tasteful. You were being very tasteful. The kids could have stayed in the room for that.
Yeah.
That was delightful the way you
Great
did. Have you
memory, let
thought
me tell you.
have you thought of doing comedy?
I do weddings and bar mitzvahs. Uh,
I'll hire you. Actually, I'll host. I'll introduce you. Yes, I used to have my own comedy troupe called Bonnie G and Du Bois. And we did libraries and Borders bookstores and little places in downtown Manhattan, and it was a lot of fun, but it was always clean. So you would have
Oh,
fit right in. No, your story would have fit right
so
in
far,
so
so
far.
far.
So give us, do you have any of your books handy? You want to hold up a couple of course you do. Let's hold up a couple and then we'll get into the agenda here. Hold them up. You don't have, perfect. The augmented man. What's that about? Is it a series? Do you have a standard, a
There's
character?
a second book in the works, but it's not really a series. It's merely just a second book based on this in the works. Do you
Okay,
want to
who's
know
the
what it's
main
about?
character? Who's the lead?
The main character is a gentleman called Nicholas Trailer, and he was a severely abused child.
Hmm.
And at a certain point, the United States is in a talk about being prophetic. The United States is in a windless war in South America.
Okay.
And I wrote this book a while ago. But anyway,
Leave
we're in a
leave it
windless
there.
war,
Yep.
and somebody says we need to get out of this. How can we get out of this? And Major Donaldson, he realizes that one of the reasons that we are failing is because whoever comes back is so severely traumatized from what their experience,
Mm.
they are non-functional. They're going there ruined.
Yep.
And he said, you know, the way we can get rid of this is to get people who are already so severely traumatized, nothing affects them. They are psychologically, spiritually, emotionally dead.
Hmm.
Well, that's a fascinating thing. Where are you going to get those? We're going to get severely traumatized kids who've been
Oh
brutalized,
dear.
raped, beaten, abused.
Oh dear. Make this short because we don't do doom and gloom. It sounds like an interesting book, but just give me the punchline here.
Punchline is he goes, he does his thing in South America, he comes back, he hides in the woods, and then someone says, I love you. And she means it. The only thing is, he has been so trained to kill, he is terrified he's going to kill her. So Nick Trailer goes to Donaldson and says, kill me, destroy me.
Don't give me the. All right, that's enough. We want people to buy the book. Interesting. Give me another title of another book you wrote, please.
Empty Sky.
Okay. Wow, that's some time. Hold that up. I want to see that cover. That's the cleanest cover I've ever seen of a novel. How long are your books? 200 pages? 300 pages?
This one's about 450. They're all about 350, 450 pages, except for one. Let me get that one out for you.
We got to oil your chair, kid.
I know. The Shaman.
Oh my good.
Thick book,
600?
700 and something pages.
Listen, my novella is going to be about 150 pages.
That's good length.
But I couldn't imagine writing 300. I've told the story and I'm done with it and it's enough and I've got a whole bunch of characters and they're well defined. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
No, that's excellent. End the story where it's supposed to end.
It's
Don't
supposed to end
keep it
there.
going.
You
Just
know what? I want to get into, we need to know about music now. It's time for us to go to the part of the show where we talk about what's your cool dude music because your life has been very interesting. It has had a lot of challenges, physical, social, psychological, you name it. You are complete, you are whole, you are writing, you are productive, you are intelligent, and you smile and you're funny too. That's quite a package there. Tell your wife I said so. Okay, so what I'd like to know is some of your favorite music that either describes the trajectory of your life or just favorites, any genre, any year, any performer. What are your favorites? Three, five, 10, whatever you got. Talk to me. What do you got?
Bach Toccata and Fugue in D minor.
Okay.
Actually, anything by Bach. I've never encountered anything by Bach that didn't impress me. First heard Bach when I was in junior high, and I don't remember what caused me to hear it, but I heard it and I was so amazed at the mathematical precision that's why I started playing keyboards and organs and stuff like that. I was a child of the 60s, early 70s. So that's my musical panorama. The Beatles, they they broke barriers. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, yes. The Who, my God, these are masters. And
Give
if
me some
there's
titles. I want to know some titles. Give me some of your favorite songs.
um,
Specific.
You're Moved by Yes.
Okay.
Roundabout by yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Beatles, Eleanor Rigby.
Oh,
My God.
yep.
All You Need Is Love.
Yes. One of my favorites.
Um, just an amazing thing. The Who, Tommy.
Yep.
The kids are all right. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Manticore. Anything off that album is amazing. Um,
And you're an instrumentalist too. You told me before we started the show today that you've got what about 500 instruments in your no, you've got about 12 instruments in your house, everything from clarinet to
Someone
guitar to
counted and
drums.
said we have 28 instruments.
28. Well, I underestimated.
Guys,
Okay.
Susan and I play. Let's be clear. Susan also plays music.
What do you when you play a duet? What instrument you each play?
I'm usually on the oboe and she's on the violin.
Well, that would be more on the classical side. Anything on the rock side or the pop side?
Um, well, sometimes when I'm sitting at the piano, I just begin improvising and she'll come into the room and she'll go, "What was that? That was beautiful." I said, "I have no idea what it was. And if you weren't recording it, you'll never hear it again."
There you go.
But I do a lot of Joni Mitchell. Oh my God, Crosby,
Oh,
Stills, Nash and Young.
love,
Good.
love Joni Mitchell.
In one of my novels, not to plug, but In
Please.
Search,
Yes.
which takes place in 1973, based on a true story. Um, I used music to set the scenes for a lot of what happens in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Joni Mitchell's "Help Me" is in there. America is in there. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Wow.
Steve Tyler, Aerosmith,
Mm,
Peter Frampton. Oh,
mm.
yeah.
Do you know Dream On was the first song I drummed in public, and I'd only been taking lessons for about 6 weeks. And I
Whoa.
started lessons, and I said, "What am I going to do with this?" And they said, "We've got an adult band. We've got three of them, and it was School of Rock in Cary, North Carolina, next to Durham." And they said, "We have an adult band, and one of the three bands is missing a drummer." I said, "Okay, sign me up." So I started doing rehearsals, and they said, "You've got to design the ending to the song because it goes on and on." I said, "Are you kidding? I'm just learning how to hit the pedals and what to do with the sticks." And they said, "No, you got to." So I figured it out. And the next thing I know, we're at Motorco, which is in downtown Durham. And it's a place that has bleachers on the sides and a great big space where people stand. There were 9 bands that day, and most of them were kids. Little kids, 6 year old,
Mhm.
8 years old, playing instruments with the teacher singing Beatles songs. And then the adult bands came, and it was my turn. And I went on stage, and I thought I've done a lot of stage work, emceeing and doing things before that, radio, TV, but this was brand new. And it was quite an experience. But what happened was, I raised my hand and I moved on the screen here. What happened was, Joseph, the band hadn't been that friendly to me, passingly, because I was the new kid. Okay. And here we are on stage, and we came up to the very last line, the very last phrase in Dream On. And I raised my sticks to come down with a final hit. And the lead guitar turned and looked at me and smiled and raised his guitar in the air. And we came down at the exact nanosecond. And I said,
Nice.
"I'm here. I
Yes,
have,
you have
I,
arrived.
I have arrived." And it was a magical moment. So Dream On is very special to me. And I did 3 songs. I did three, and the teacher did a couple because the instructor, because I was still fairly new. So I took turns on the cowbell and on the tambourine, and he took over the drums. We went back and forth. But when I came down to the audience, a friend of mine had gone with me, and some people came up to me and said, "Oh, how long have you been playing? You're so good." And I said, 6 weeks. They said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, some of us figure it out soon." Anyway, it was a lot of fun. So when people mention Aerosmith, it just zings with me. It's just wonderful. Can I tell you some of my favorite songs? Would you like to hear?
Please.
I did them in rhyme this time, and I've never done that. I have a long list, but I'll read these, and I think you'll get a kick out of this. I hope so. Here we go. The soundtrack of Bonnie D's life features girl singers galore. Here are just a few, and there are many more. From Donna Summer, Heat and Heartbeat, Hot Stuff, spiced the radio, hot stuff. Done. She worked hard for the money. Last Dance and No More Tears had magic flair. Cyndi Lauper laughed out loud. Girls just want to have fun and free. While Leslie Gore said, "You don't own me," and I heard liberty. Helen Reddy roared, I am woman, putting courage on parade. Janis Joplin sang, nothing left to lose. Bobby McGee made me unafraid. Pat Benatar's hit me with your best shot, gave me power, bold and true. Aretha's RESPECT decree demanded what was due. With Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive and Patti LaBelle's new attitude, too, this fierce soundtrack keeps me boldly free. Woohoo. Did you like that? I've never
That was
done it
good.
in I've never done it in a rhyme before. The Donna Summer discography really is what she works hard for the money, hot stuff on the radio, no more tears, duet with Barbara Streisand, Enough is Enough, Last Dance, I Feel Love, and Heaven Knows. So those are pretty much my songs. So I'm a disco girl at the rock and roll era and disco. Did you get into the disco era at all, Joseph?
Through the Bee Gees, through Saturday Night Live. Um, I think that was disco.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely. I
and
think I
and
saw
it's
them.
worth pointing
Yeah.
out that it's only now, what, 30 years after Saturday Night Live came out, that people
Mm-hmm.
are recognizing, my God, this was a masterpiece. This was an iconic film. You know, it's become one of the American Film Institute's must views.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, what you basically have is John Campbell's hero's journey. This kid's
Okay.
in a, you know, not wonderful, not bad, but not wonderful home, and he's got this dream. He wants to become, the dancer, right?
Yep.
He works and he works and he works and he finds a mentor. He finds this person. He finds that person.
Yep.
He does, and the scene where I forgot the name of the girl. She's a great actress in her own right. She basically gives herself to everybody in the car
Mm-hmm.
because she wants him so bad. So there you have the sacrifice of love,
Oh my.
the guy who throws himself off the bridge. You have the fool who is betrayed. And then that's what John Travolta, that's where he has his big moment and he goes, what am I doing? What is
Yep.
this all about?
Yep.
And then he returns back with, yes, I need to leave here. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot be here anymore. And, I have to say, it took people 30 years to see that in that movie. I remember going to the movie, coming out and going, oh my God. I'm talking to my friends. Do you know what you just saw?
Yeah.
This is mythic. This is the Odyssey in 90 minutes.
And what I saw was great dancing. And what I saw was it was time to start teaching. And I started a class called You Should Be Dancing. And my friend and dance partner, who I was dating at the time, this was on the West Coast, we started a class and we had over 250 students take the
Wow.
You Should Be Dancing. It was mostly line dances. And it was in
Oh,
a cafeteria in a high school somewhere in
yep.
Oregon. And at the end of 10 weeks, we still had almost 200 people in the class. So that's what I saw out of Saturday Night Fever. I didn't see the deep journey hero's story that you did, but very, very interesting. So who is doing this analysis now that you've so beautifully described? You said the movie is being seen by so many people now. Who is promoting it? Is it Travolta or is it somebody
Well,
else?
no, it's just in the AFI Institute, the
Okay.
American Film Institute archives now. It was been selected. It's in the library, yeah, Library of Congress now.
Yep.
And it gets regular play. It's being taught at the university level, college university level. Um, it's great stuff.
I just added sound effects. I wanted you to know. There we go. Okay, good. Very, very, I had to do that. Very, very interesting. So we've covered music, and now I'd like to do the OTT off the top section. And let's talk briefly about a couple of things. This is a conversation, not an interview. That's why we're both talking. So, and I want to say hello to anybody who's watching live. I know you told your fans and friends and your gazillions of people around the world. So, creativity superpower. Obviously, you're a deep thinker. Mr. C. I'm very impressed already. You're rolling your eyes, but it's true. You can't escape that. So, what would you say your superpower is for creativity? And that could be your writing, your music, how you live your life. What would you say if you had one creativity superpower that you could put on a business card? I'm Joseph C. and my creativity superpower is. What would it be?
Imagination.
Ooh, okay. What fuels it?
Uh, Wheaties primarily, and chili
Wheaties.
sauce.
Okay.
Um, let me give you a minute here.
Yeah.
I never did well in school. I,
Okay.
you know, they just basically said, "Quit, kid, while you can."
Mm.
However, I knew people through high school, through college, and even nowadays who have degrees, and they followed the book. They knew the book. They could quote the book back at you, but go 1 inch off the book, and they were lost. They didn't know. All the stuff that I've done in my life, the patents I've received, and all that kind of stuff. It was because I what's called nowadays it's called translational research. I would take from here. That's really good. You know what? I can tie that into something over here. You know what? I can tie that over. My patents, they cover, I forget how many different disciplines, but somebody said you matched quantum mechanics to virology and immunology and then dropped in anthropology. What were you doing that you came up with this? And I said, I don't know. I was probably watching some stupid cartoon. I have no clue. But it's imagination. People who don't have imagination worry me because they will never taste the stars. They
I
will never hear the ocean sing. Oh my God, the world is so full of stuff, patiently waiting for us to be aware,
What
alive
a
and
beautiful way to look at life, Joseph.
I
What a
know.
lovely way to look at life. Do you want to know what my creativity superpower is?
Please, yes.
I get people like you to talk to me.
Well, hopefully you can do better next time.
No, this is lovely. This is absolutely lovely. I convince people to trust me to tell me their stories, send me their origin story, and share things about their life that aren't in the normal interview, which I find very blah, blah, yada, yada. I don't do those. I do conversation. So that's my superpower. Now let's go to another area of OTT, and this is how do you start your day? You must fuel that imaginative brain and heart of you. I want to know what's in that cup. Tell me,
Coffee.
what
Many, many
kind?
years ago, I was a apprentice to a coffee broker, and he
Mm-hmm.
taught me more about coffee than most people know. He taught me how to use coffee as a medicine, how to use coffee as a healing
Hmm.
liquid, how to put it together with other herbs to create a balm. Brilliant, brilliant.
Really? Real?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to do a whole show on coffee. Tell me what kind of coffee is in that cup right now? What do you make it? Do you brew it? Is it's not pods, I'm sure. Do you
No, it's
roast
not pods.
roast your own
I
beans? Come on, I want to know the deal.
I used to roast my own beans. The roaster died, and
Oh.
at the point in time, I said there's going to be a place where I can actually find beans roasted correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So I took about 2 years of travel study, and I finally found a place that actually produced beans the way they're, or roasted beans the way they were supposed to be roasted, and shipped them in small enough packages that okay, they're not going to die in the
Yep.
freezer.
Yep.
Um, and now I mix my own beans. I tell them specifically what I'm looking for: Mexican Altura, Kona, um, Jamaican Blue Mountain, whatever, Tanzanican Yabas, and I'll
Mm.
mix the beans. We have what we call our morning coffee. We have our afternoon coffee. We have our espresso mix. We have our cappuccino mix, depending what we want.
Wow, I am impressed. Unfortunately, I can't do caffeine anymore, and I experimented with decaf coffee. I used to be able to drink 3 to 5 cups a day, and now you would find me on the ceiling, very jittery and very unhappy, and it lasts for hours. And I tried about a week ago. I decided to go through decaf through the pods. I have an espresso, what a Keurig and an espresso, and I thought it was good. It was better cold than hot. I haven't found what I would really like, which is dark, dark cocoa like Mexican
Yeah.
coffee, which I had in Cancun 100 years ago, which I could drink 3 carafes a day and never bother me. Maybe that's why I was in the disco till 4 in the morning at Club Med. I don't know. Must have been the caffeine. But the point is that I had a reaction to that little tiny bit of caffeine the next day, and I didn't feel so great. So
Uh,
I threw out the cold coffee and I put the pods away and I put the Keurig away in the garage, and that's it. But would you like to know how I start my day? You ready?
please.
Okay. I have an individual Hamilton Beach blender, not as erudite or elite as what you do, but I put in 6 to 8 ounces of 1% milk cold, and I'll add some frozen sliced strawberries unsweetened. And then I'll add a banana, medium size, not too speckled, not green, because they taste chalky and they sit in your throat all day. A banana, break it into pieces, put it in, then a squirt of raw agave syrup instead of sugar, and maybe a little sprinkle of ginger, which helps with inflammation, and maybe a little bit of cinnamon or some unsweetened cocoa. The cocoa, the Hershey's cocoa that comes, the powder, which it wasn't available about 6 months ago, and I was paying $20 a box for it. Now it's down to $4.95 a box. So there was a climate thing in the Ivory Coast, and it was a problem with it. It wasn't a tariff thing. Anyway, I'll blend it, and while I'm blending it, Joseph, this is a pulse blender. It's about 14 ounces a cup with a plastic lid, and you could put a straw in it, but I don't. And I blend it, and I do my morning meditations, which I started about 3 months ago. And I do and I love you and gratitude to each of my children and their families, to the people I know who are ill or have a spouse or a child or a good friend who is not doing well, and I send good wishes. And then I thank whoever it is I'm thanking for me with my whole name, and then I finish pulsing, and then I take it off of the motor, and I open the top, and I put a reusable straw that's been pipe cleaner cleaned, and I take it into my office and I enjoy it. So that's my banana shake. Everyone, what do you think about that? Cool?
Sounds delicious.
It actually is. It really is. And some days, if I'm really feeling like I need a boost, I'll put a little bit of old-fashioned vanilla ice cream in it, but don't tell anybody. We wouldn't want to do that. Joseph, if you could be a superhero, what would your name be? What would you do?
If I could be a superhero, my name would be Joseph. And what would I be able to do? I would be able to get people to enjoy their lives.
Hmm. 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 Okay. I don't know why don't you name me? What, if I was a superhero, what do you think I would be? I've never done this before with a guest. Who do you think I would be? Be nice.
Glamour girl.
Glamour girl or grammar girl?
Glamour.
Really? Is that a compliment?
Well, see now, most people think of glamour in the modern language sense, but the old term of glamour meant an aura that attracted people.
Oh, I am incredibly flattered. Thank
The
you.
glamour, that would be the actual use of it. Didn't translate well in English, but they would say someone has the glamour. And
Well,
that meant they had the gift of attracting people, of being able to be beneficent to others.
thank you. Wow. Okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, that's very, very good. Let's see what we've got. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hello. Listen, I'm doing my live show. Yeah, this is Joseph Carrabis, Joseph C. Uh-huh. Who's there? Okay. Well, I know who you are. Okay, Steven Spielberg is there, and James Cameron, and Tarantino, and Ron Howard. You got Clint Eastwood? Clint, hi. Haven't seen you in a while. Haven't heard from you. And we got Guy Ritchie and Christopher Nolan. Lorne Michaels is there? Well, he's not doing SNL yet. It didn't make it. I think it's coming on next Saturday. Okay, the Kings, Michelle and Robert. Yeah, okay. David Fincher is there. Shonda Rhimes. Aaron Sorkin, Chuck Lorre. Okay, you've got a full complement. You're having brunch. Well, it's 9 o'clock on the West Coast, so you're having brunch. Good. Okay, you might be having a mix of the coffee that Joseph talked about. What do you want to know? You want Joseph to pick. Okay, you want him to pick a director. Somebody's going to make either a movie or a TV show, not his biopic, but a lead character based on Joseph's life, but not the Joseph C story. Okay. The lead character will have the qualities of Joseph. All right, good, good, good. So you want him to pick the director, whether it's TV or movie. If it's TV, is a limited series, is it? Yeah, okay. The genre, is it action, drama, fantasy, musical, romance, comedy, sci-fi, thriller, horror, time travel, any combination? Okay, that's very free of you. Good. You want him to pick the director and the lead character actor, and maybe there's a female lead as well. Okay. All right, listen, I'll get back to you. Joseph and I are really having a nice conversation here, and he just called me glamour girl in the vintage sense, not me vintage, the term vintage. Thank you, Joseph. Okay, all right. So everybody say hi, and Clint Eastwood, it was really nice of you to be there. You weren't there last time. Thank you. Okay, bye. Okay, Joseph, we've been given a request here by the literati glitterati of the film and TV industry, and they're so intrigued by you, they would like to know, they want to use your story as the basis for a character, but it's not your biopic. So, which director, TV or movie,
Ron
genre?
Howard.
Ron Howard, okay, genre?
Uh, Science fantasy, I guess.
Oh, I haven't heard
Children's
that
book.
one. Okay, and what would the lead character, what would the name of the film be, first of all?
He survived.
He survived. That sounds very dramatic. Okay, what era would it take? It would it be future?
No, let's do the late 20th century, early 21st.
Okay, so no robots, no bots, no AI. Okay, that's interesting. All right, and lead character's name would be
Gerald
With the G or a J?
G.
Okay, that's good. So it would be Jerry, maybe. I don't think your lead character would have a nickname. I think it would be a full Gerald. It sounds very serious. Okay, that's good. And okay, Ron Howard, Gerald, he survived. Science fantasy, and would there be a female lead in it?
Definitely.
What would her name be, and who would she be played by? And
Robin.
who would play Robin, and who would play Gerald?
Gerald will be played by Martin Sheen.
Wow.
And, yeah. And Robin would be played by hmm, Glenn Close.
Oh my. You've got a couple of talking about glitterati in there. Wow. Okay, and this is a feature film?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any theme music? Who would do the theme music? We don't usually ask, but
Theme music could probably be George Benson, Earl Klug. Uh,
oh, Be Still My Heart. I'm a big George Benson fan.
yeah.
Very, very interesting. I have to
Tommy
tell you,
Emmanuel is very impressive.
there's a very cute, shall we say, con slash detective show called Wild Cards on TV. And they have recently, I'm binging on it 1 or 2 episodes a night. It's about 45 minutes. And two very interesting leads. The murders are interesting. The solutions are interesting. The characters are fascinating. But they recently introduced Martin Sheen as the sitting in a beautiful old, looks like a mansion in a library, reading from a book he has written, which is the handbook for running a con. And the lead character, the one, now this is, I'm into like episode 20. I watched season one a year or two ago, and now I'm in season two. He is reading it and talking about it, talking through it, and she's watching this on a video. And it's fascinating. So Martin Sheen now has a guest role as this character in
Hmm.
Wild Cards. If you haven't seen it, I don't remember, I think it's on Prime. Take a look at, I'll send you which episode it's in, but he's fascinating as this senior person, shall we say, this vintage knowledgeable person who's talking about the point of the con. And
Yeah.
the lead female character is a con artist, and her father is in jail. Every time she helps the police solve a problem, which is a murder, the agreement with the police commissioner who's running for mayor now is that they'll take 2 weeks off her father's jail sentence. But her father has a cell phone, and he calls her, and she calls him on his little flip phone under his pillow, and she goes to see him, and they have long conversations. It's
Hmm.
very, very interesting, very twisty. But Martin Sheen just came up. Glenn Close is an interesting character to play in this. Wow. So, will your movie debut? You think it'll win a prize, the Palme d'Or at Cannes, or do you think it'll debut in the U.S.? Where would it start?
Not sure where it would debut, but I would like to see it at the Toronto Film Festival.
Okay.
I would like to see it at um, Robert Redford's festival.
Okay.
I forgot the name of it. Um, I find that I find that with few exceptions, European or actually films made elsewhere tend to be much more thought-provoking, much more um,
Deep.
yeah,
Yeah.
oceans
Okay.
deep than the ones in the US. The US movies, put on a pair of tights and go fly in the air somewhere. Okay, good.
Okay.
I've seen that one before.
That's
Um,
a genre. I don't watch movies anymore. I prefer a limited series TV show where I can
yeah,
take a break every 45 minutes. And a lot of the European shows I watch, I like French detective shows with a very strong, quirky lead female
yes,
character, and I've binged on many, many, many of those. But some of those shows tend to be an hour and a half, which is Joseph. It's like watching a short movie.
yeah,
Seriously,
yes.
it's a commitment, and you need to pause if you want to take a break.
You ever watch Professor T?
I started it a while ago. The new one or the old one?
The British one.
The British one. I don't think I've seen that. Should I?
It's interesting. And the old one. You talking about the Danish one?
Yeah, yeah, the old one. Yeah, I started
Yeah,
the new one and I watched a couple of episodes about 3 years ago, but I haven't gone back to it. I
yeah.
his
I've
his
been
mother
learning,
his mother was in
learning
it.
Danish for 4 years now, and it still eludes me. So,
I'll take a look. Thank you very much. I want to tell you about my director. Okay, my director would be Shonda Rhimes, who just had a birthday
mhm.
yesterday. No, she actually is having a birthday today. Yes, and it will be a regular TV series with 8 episodes a year, and either Bonnie Raitt or who's the redhead? Reba McEntire would be the star, and it'll take place similar to Reba's new TV show, which actually turned out to be quite well written and very funny, where she inherits a restaurant bar from her dad. And she's got a cast of characters, the bartender and the people, the guy who is supposedly their CPA, who was there all the time, who was a germaphobe, and the Indian gentleman with the braid, who is very serious but very funny. He's the manager, and then the cook, who is her real life boyfriend, Rex Lynn, the actor, who was in the kitchen cooking up this fast food stuff for the good fast food. Anyway, and she doesn't know that her daddy had a little side gig and produced a daughter from the side gig, and the daughter shows up and she's her half sister, and they have to manage the bar together. It's very interesting, but it would be a musical comedy, 25 minutes a week, and it would be 8 episodes a year. And it would be called something like something silly from a Donna Summer music. It would be either She Works Hard for the Money or it would be Hot Stuff. That would probably be the name. And it would be just really funny and tightly written. And Shonda would write it for me.
That would be the name of the restaurant. Hot stuff.
Hot Stuff. There you go. Oh, very good. I bet there is. Okay. Then maybe the name of the show would be Girls Just Want to Have Fun with little Cyndi Lauper there, or Freedom from Janis Joplin, or Bobby McGee. Why don't we name it Bobby McGee's?
Uh, okay. Another one thing you could do is Cyndi Lauper's "Sisters of Avalon" would be the theme music. If it's
Okay.
two sisters running the
Okay.
show,
Yeah, could be. Well, and the character would be based on me and not
yeah,
on the Reba character, and it would be she dances, she plays the drums, she tried to sing, she's done TV and radio, she has her stand up, she gets people like you to talk to her for a while. Yeah, she'd be an interesting character, so that would be mine. And Shonda would write it, and it would be so fast that if you blinked in the time it took for your eyelashes to meet the bottom and the top, you would miss a line because the talking would be so fast that you'd have to actually find a way to not get up and take a break and not drink anything or eat anything or sip anything during the show, because you would miss something and it would be character specific and driven, and it would miss the plot and you would not know what had happened in the next 30 seconds because Shonda writes very fast dialogue. Got it? You got it. Okay. I'll talk to Shonda about that. Okay. We've done enough of off the top. I think we're off our minds right now. What I'd like to do is I'm going to, oh, first of all, I want to say thank you to you for this part of the show. And let's just do a little thank you, Joseph. I love my sound effects. Okay, kids, calm down, calm down. Okay, that's fine. Joseph appreciates the applause. Okay, I'm going to stop my sound sharing right now, and I'm going to invite you. This is very important. this part of the show, and you have to say the title of the part of the show, Joseph, in order to do it. Otherwise, we have to stop right now. Okay. The title of this segment is called Say What? Can you say that?
Say what?
One more time?
Say what?
A little wobbly, but we'll take it. This is the genesis, if you will, not to get biblical, of my new show. Say what? Good news, which I do 5 days a week, 5 mornings a week. But we're going to do three good news stories here, and I'm going to allow you to share. We practice this, so the share button is open for you. Why don't you tell us and walk us through three feel-good stories? Joseph, you're up.
Are you seeing the
We will in a second. We're waiting. There we go. I'm looking
okay.
at something starry. Go ahead.
Yes. How many moons does the Earth have? Most people think of the moon. In reality, the Earth is saturated by moons, meaning naturally occurring objects which are within the Earth's gravitational field and orbit around it. By some people's counts, there are 7,800. Ones you'd have to watch out for, probably around 50, but there's quite a few. That's number one. Shall I continue?
Please. Yes, that was. So, what are we looking at? Do we have a name? The one on the left there looked like a monster almost. It had a almost a face on it. You want to go back for a second
Yeah,
to
I'm
that
seeing
one?
if I can go back. Here we go.
Okay, if you can't, that's fine. Yes, the one on the left looks like a multi-layered monster with an eye on the top and a snout on the left side, and then a double mouth open, or maybe that's just the tongue. Do you see an animal in there? A monster?
Well, now that you've mentioned it, possibly so.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like an intergalactic turd, but whatever works. Um,
Okay, mine's a little more polite, but we'll go with. All right, now you can go to your second story. What's your second story?
Second story. Where is the largest waterfall on Earth?
I
It
don't
is
know.
actually in the ocean. The largest waterfall
What?
is in the ocean between Iceland and Greenland. It is far larger than any other waterfall, 11,500 feet. The largest waterfall on land is 3,200 feet. So this is four times, roughly four times the size.
And how would I find this? Okay, in the Denmark Strait.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hopefully you won't find it because you wouldn't be able to get out of it. If
Okay.
you got caught in it, you would just be going down to the very bottom layers of the ocean where it is incredibly cold. And you'd
Wow.
be saying hi to squids. And I'm not talking calamari here. I'm talking the
I
real
I
squids.
I understand. Well, thank you. That's fascinating. Wow, 11,500 feet. Where'd you find this chart? This is fascinating.
I believe this chart is from the National Aeronautics Association and NOAA, NOAA.
Yes, yes. Thank
Um,
you.
yeah.
Well, that's a say what? Say what?
Every once
Okay.
in a while, I do something that's science based. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're doing it. And what's your third today? That's
Do you
pretty.
know that the largest rivers on the earth are not on land? They are in the sky.
What?
The largest rivers, they're moisture streams which draw moisture as plentiful as the Amazon, the Nile, the Mississippi. And they transport it. The biggest one goes from the Amazon over to Africa and back, depending on the seasons. This one is in the Pacific and it draws air from the Japan current and brings it up and around.
Is this a live map we're looking at? It's moving. Is this a video? What are we seeing?
This is a this is a GIF from a GPS feed, a GFS feed. I'm sorry,
Fascinating.
but
Beautiful too.
that is a feed of the river. The green, which is coming over, that's the river itself putting moisture over the west coast.
Thank you. Very, very interesting. Wow. Okay. Those are three real say what stories. Thank you.
My pleasure. Stop sharing.
Please. And then I will start sharing. Let me get myself situated here. We've got Zoom is going into different directions. Just bear with me for a second here. All right, I'm going to start sharing my stories, which are a little more earthbound, earthly, mundane, but I think you will enjoy them. Let's see where we are. Okay, we dish. Here we go. And you should be able to see mine right about now. Are you seeing it?
Hang
Okay.
on a second. Yes.
Okay. Spanish collector sets the world record for dog figurines. This was a man named Maria Gabarro. He didn't like dogs, Joseph. He didn't like dogs at all, but he liked to collect the figurines. He passed away in 2024 at 94. But his children said, why don't we honor dad? Actually, he collected them with his wife, Teresa. Uh, Let me see. I'm looking for her name was Mrs. Rosa Galobardes Galvez. Okay, she was the wife. And anyway, the children were Rosa, Maria, Nuri, Enrique, Miguel, and Teresa. And they decided that they would honor their parents with applying to the Guinness World Record for the largest dog figurine collection. This
Hmm.
article was actually from GuinnessWorldRecords.com. The largest collection of dog-related items is 5,025, okay, and the whole family is named on the statistic. They took on the collection started by their late parents. These include figurines that were made from glass, ceramic, wood, porcelain, metal, wax, plastic, marble, textile, and resin or rosin. And they wanted to honor, they say, we believe our parents' passion and effort deserve to be shared with the world, inspiring other collectors and enthusiasts. Can you see the amount of
Yeah.
figurines here? Is that something? So this is something that the kids said, well, I don't know what they're doing with it. Maybe they're charging people to come in and see it, but certainly he didn't like dogs in real life, but he certainly liked to look at them. So let's go on to the second story. This is more up your alley, Joseph. Turning moon ice into clean drinking water. A British team won first place in the Aqualunar Challenge for developing a system that purifies water extracted from lunar ice. This is an article from April of last year. NASA's Artemis mission wants to build foundations of long-term human presence on the moon by the year 2030. Joseph, we just started 2026. It's not that far away. British tech company researchers won the equivalent in dollars of $194,000, which is probably not a lot for a grant, but it's something, for developing a system to provide clean drinking water on the moon. It's called the Sono Chem, capital S, capital C system. First place in the challenge, and it was funded by the UK Space Agency and organized with the Canadian Space Agency, and others. Astronauts will need, you'll appreciate this, they'll need drinking water, they'll need water for growing food, oxygen for air, hydrogen for fuel. The winning team was called Naker, N-A-I-C-K-E-R Scientific. They developed a lunar microwave that purifies water extracted from lunar ice. Sound waves form bubbles in the water, and high pressure and high temperature and pressure create unstable, chemically reactive atoms called free radicals that decontaminate the water.
Mhm.
Fascinating? Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and the first runner-up included a father and son team who only won $129,000, but they had a three-step water filtration system for constant drinking water, and a Queen Mary University of London team came in third with a reactor for 64,000. There we go. And this is interesting. Do you have any $2 bills, Joseph?
Not on me now.
Well, do you know that they were called the $2 Tom? I didn't know that.
No.
Did you? They
No.
because Thomas Jefferson's picture was on the front. I think it might have been on the back too, but I'm only seeing one picture here. It is not out of circulation. It's real. It's in regular circulation and it doesn't have a lot of volume, not counting the $2 nomination denominations that appeared with continental currency that funded the American Revolution. Six categories were issued by the U.S. government, and I won't go through all of them, but they was eight. There were 1862 to 69. There was in Reconstruction years the Lazy Deuce, which had horizontal digits. Then there was the Federal Reserve notes during after World War II, and then the Federal Reserve notes appeared in 1976 to celebrate the U.S. bicentennial. So you can still get them, and let me read you a little more facts here. The U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing still produces $2 bills. There were 128 million in the fiscal year 2023. They are a fully valid legal tender currency. Banks can provide them if you ask. I don't think I will. Perceived rarity, scarcity in daily transactions leads to the belief they're miscontinued. Not true. There were $1.4 billion worth 5 years ago in 2020, and it's still growing. Most are worth face value, but certain conditions or series are valuable. From 1862 to 1917, uncirculated notes were potentially worth $1,000 apiece, whether the seal is red, brown, or blue, which is pre 1928. That increases the value. Serial numbers under 100 or fancy numbers are valuable, and special sets uncirculated from 1995 or 2003 in special packaging are worth something. So if you come across a $2 bill, it could be very, very real.
Yeah, I have to excuse myself. I'm gonna go check my wallet right now.
There you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Those were my say what? Those were my say what. Let me get the music back here. So, Joseph, I'm going to ask you a very difficult question. You know, this is not an interview, but we'll do this as a conversation. This is really important to the purpose of this show. If a young person sees you on this show and they come to me or you and they say, I want to know, how could I become a cool dude like Joseph C.? What advice would you give them?
Be willing to take on challenges. Don't say you can't do it. Say, I will do it. I will find a way. And if somebody says you can't do it twice. Send them a picture.
What about imagination? That was your superpower. What do you say about using imagination
Well,
toward?
if you're going to be able to do whatever you want to do, you need imagination. That's prerequisite. Um, you have to think outside of the box. If you don't think outside of the box, you're going to be somebody else's package the rest of your life. They'll
There,
put you in a box.
there you go. Absolutely. I agree with that. My advice to somebody, I used to tell this when I mentored younger women in the workplace when I was working in corporate in for enterprises for many years, I would say, if you see a little light coming through the window or a little opening in the door, open the damn door, kick it open, force it open if you have to, open the window, let the air in, let the light in, see what's on the other side. It might be an opportunity. I think you have had more careers than I have, Joseph, and I'm counting between 9 and 12 for myself. How many do you think you've had already?
Oh, I don't know.
20, 30?
This many.
This many. Okay, there you go. Well, I want to thank you for being my special guest here. You certainly are a cool dude. I think you're cool dude number 55, and I have a cool dude Hall of Fame. And when I update the banner, you will be on it. I want you to know that's a
Thank
place
you.
of honor. So, my pleasure. So, let's go out with the music. And I want to thank, these are my lyrics, and the melody and the instrumental and the singing is from my friend Serge Hoffman in Paris, who is a musician, and he is writing for movies and composing for operas and trios and Cirque du Soleil. And I want to thank him for that. And Joseph C., it has been just a pure delight. And let's get going here.
So you wanna be
So you want to be a Joseph C.,
a cool kid,
a cool dude,
hanging
and a glamour girl,
in cassette, looking real
looking real,
cool
cool
and fine.
and fine.
Asking you faking it. So you wanna
So
be
you want to be. There's the drum roll. Thank you, thank you.